Hello, and welcome back, friends. It's time for another Zeri video. We have two different builds in the bottom left, one in this gameplay and one in another gameplay. And if you want, I'll upload another gameplay of me playing Zeri, absolutely dominating a high challenger game with broken picks in the lobby. But for this, we have a gameplay, or we have two gameplays, where you're gonna see at least one pentakill going absolutely crazy. So let's hop into this lovely game. We have a Zeri Nami into a Sona Twitch, and if there's one thing that's very broken about Zeri, is the fact that she gains movement speed if she gains a shield. And if she hits a target that has a shield, which is going to be happening all the time with a Sona, you will permanently get the enhanced movement speed, as well as gaining an additional shield on top for yourself. And you see, Zeri typically isn't one of the strongest laning champions, but if the enemy doesn't really have a champion that's able to trade back, because it's Sona and you have a Nami, and the enemy AD carries a Twitch and you are Zeri, life is kinda decent nowadays. And it's only a matter of time until this entire thing completely blows out of proportion. When it comes to Zeri, there's one thing that you have to understand though. This champion can be built in two different ways, be it an on-hit character on AD or AP, or even as a full AP nuker or normal crit AD carry. But what allows her to do this? Well, Zeri's kit is quite interesting. Her ultimate basically turns her into a supercharged nuke, allowing her to deal 50 billion K damage, and the nice beautifully placed Nami bubble nearly takes care of the sewer rat, and now we just walk closer. The only downside of Zeri is you can't really hit through towers, which makes it a little bit more difficult. And now the Twitch tries to escape, but gets sniped by the second ability. But now there's a Syndra on the move. What are you gonna do? You're gonna get flashed on. You're probably just gonna die. A nicely placed bubble, but the Ignite will execute the Zeri. It's an absolute tragedy. But yeah, nicely done here. And when it comes to Zeri, like whenever you pop ultimate, you turn into God. Because if teamfights are slightly coordinated, you easily realize the value of this champion, because the damage will absolutely skyrocket and you'll be absolutely confused how much damage this champion can do. You will not really understand the amount of damage the champion does until you actually see it happen to you. And not only this, but also just understanding how Zeri functions, how weak she is as a laner, and how strong she can become in teamfights is something that you have to just go through if you want to become one of the best Zeri players. Now we see a gank coming in from the Nautilus, nicely placed bubble again from the Nami. She's just completely having the Zeri on her back, making it borderline impossible for the enemy to catch them. Enemy team is quite pissed already, I can promise you that one. So yeah. They're close to just mentally surrendering, and once Zeri hits level 5, we are in for some interesting damage numbers, gaining the attack speed, the movement speed, and the zapping auto attacks in combination with all the other things you have. The only thing you can be just critical about is running Conqueror, because if you do the math, I'm pretty certain that you come out with Lethal Tempo being better, but you will have Conqueror stacked earlier than you will have Lethal Tempo stacked. So if you believe that the fight will end very soon, and you just want to have the most burst damage possible, then Conqueror will provide you with more value. Nautilus is also the wrong target, tries now to hit the Nami. Nami is just bubbling back. They turn the fight. Everybody appears here. It's an absolute massacre. The Sivir from the mid lane walks in, and this poor sewer rat is finally finding the rat catcher, and he's just, well, back into his sewers. Poor guy. And now they just keep on working onto this tower down here, the beautiful skin of Dragon Lantern Zeri. Making sure you realize when the ultimate is active is quite the baller of a champion. Like, just imagine you could utilize Trinity Force on this champion properly, would make a laning phase so much stronger. Now the Twitch is turning on them, flashes even after them, tries to proc every single passive, but he just can't. But now the Nami is at risk of potentially dying, flashes away, but the Lee Sin is also here, dashes over the wall, hits the Q onto the minion, gets close, kicks the Sona into the face, and now it's a festival. The Twitch will probably get one trade. Another bubble hits! You can't be real, the bubble mania. It's Michael Bublé on this Nami, constantly hitting every single bubble, one after another, having a beautiful recall. Okay, in the chat, in the comment section, how do I gain this recall? And if you tell me it's China only, I'm going to go nuclear here. Jokes aside. Nash's Tooth is being picked up here as a first item, even before boots. And if there's something that you also need to know about Zeri, your attack speed, once you hit a certain cap, which is I think 1.5 attacks per second, is directly converted into more damage. Nice bubble again, the Sony just randomly used ultimate, now they have no tool to defend themselves anymore, which means they can just hammer away at this turret. If the enemy walks too close, they can just pop them with the ultimate ability. You need to be really careful when you deal with the Zeri, because there's so much pokes you can just apply over walls, and it's very difficult, like if you're already on the losing end, to escape this kind of wrath. And now the Twitch is being caught alone, running under the tower. They try to find the Twitchers. Nami's now, Nami was tanking after the Zeri was tanking, and the Twitch was left alone by the Solan, which means immediate death. And if you don't know this, well, you will get immediately killed. As it should be, by the way. Tower now goes to the Zeri. I don't think the Nami even shared any goal with this, without Harold even being killed. And with this done, the Zeri is now going to pick up the Gluttonous Grease, helping out, because think about this. As of this point, Nash's Tooth is still 80 damage. 80 adaptive. But the damage from the passive is magical at all times. So, with the Gluttonous Grease, she gets the benefit of both worlds. She gets physical healing and magical healing by having these boots, as well as adding more AD to the mix. However, once she purchases Riftmaker, she will finally transition into AP, and with that happening, she will deal even more damage because you will get more AP, then you will gain AD, so the on-hit ratio will be better for Nash's Tooth. And one of the most beautiful things about having Riftmaker is that your little zaps of your ultimate will deal even more damage, because the mitigation will not be as severe since you're doing a portion of it now in true damage. Ooh, Twitch turns up in front of them, they just turn them, Pop's ultimate nearly one-taps the Twitches. Now the Nautilus is making his appearance, but he can't just get anything done, he doesn't have enough damage to one-tap the Zeri. The shield now comes in clutch, shields himself through hitting through the shielding. Nautilus nearly gets another Riptide off to kill that guy. Flash on top of the zone, and the Sona survives with 1 HP. Now the Sivir makes her appearance, tries to get these Ricochet Blades, nice snipe. Ooh, doesn't hit though. Now the Sivir is in a lot of trouble. The Dr. Moonbro's making his appearance now. He is having enough. He doesn't want this and any of this shenanigans. This guy is a little bit too tanky for the Zeri, but as long as she gets to do chip damage to him, eventually he will die as well. Zeri with the blue buff feels so good for her. Quickly taking care of the cam, spamming all your spells on cooldown, not having to worry about a single thing. Now the Syndra is making her way to the mid lane, being on a lonesome. Gotta be really careful here. You have so much gold, being very close to the Riftmaker would be a shame to die, making sure to use the third ability to jump on the wall to just make sure nothing can happen to her. And now we have the Riftmaker spike. Now we transition from AD to AP Zeri, which means we'll have a lot more AP provided by our Conqueror, a lot more damage on our Nash's on hit, and we'll just see some crazy damage numbers appear very soon if she gets to hit consistently. Just needs to be careful to not get CC'd and die instantly, because it's the only way anything could potentially go wrong. Pop's second ability nearly hits them with the empowered version through terrain. There's a Mundo in front, and now the fight starts. The Mundo's in front, and now the zapping will commence. Do you see all these arcs flying left and right, and the damage is just insane. You might believe, but Zeri isn't really dealing any damage right now. Well, on one hand, the per hit damage isn't that high, but you need to know that since you're hitting so many times and so many people at the same time, that it's quite— oh no, she actually dies. Because the frequency of hits is so high and you zap them so many times, the damage you deal and you feel you're dealing is very misleading. Because the numbers don't appear as high unless you hit them with your second ability through terrain being a crit like you see here, like a big hit. But if you do so, if you do consistently hit them over time in a team fight, you'll see you'll chip away their HP bar super fast. And that is something that's very, very, very important to know. Zeri without ultimate though isn't really that much of a damage dealer and usually would even lose one of the easiest 1v1s even against carries that are, let's say, not as ahead. The Nami gets engaged by the Nautilus ultimate, now the Sona ultimate comes again, then now the turn comes, the zapping happens, look at the zapper, everyone is getting constantly chip damage, look at the HP bars going down in the background, she's hitting the front line and dealing damage to the background at the same time, which is the beauty of this pick. You don't have to go to the backline to deal damage, and if you ever get too close, you just pop them instantly. And now the Sona is actually working against you because she provides her own team with shielding constantly, allowing to give the Zeri even more movement speed, as well as healing. The Sona needs to be really careful. They really do not want to mess with the Zeri right now, because the moment she just turns, it's over. Nicely checking the brush here just in case somebody is recalling in there, because if they make a mistake of doing so, they might get caught off guard, and if they get caught off guard, the game might swing into an even more dire state than it is already. However, I'm not quite happy with the Magi pickup, because in all on like the next fight, to be fair, will determine how the game. Okay, well, not true, because Baron at 12 minutes is useless, but I don't really see the necessity, unless you want to go for the for fun element, to buy Magi's, because it doesn't really do anything. It just makes you, like, if you're winning, you just win more, but all other items, like for example going for the Crown a little bit earlier if there's a threat on the enemy team, allows you to just play differently and just not be at risk. Sun Ultimate misses here. Twitch is being in a very rough spot, gets kicked into the face, he will still die, but now the enemy is turning. The Zeri still has ultimate available, gets stunned by Scatter of the Weak, turns now, deals so much damage, the healing will now commence, but now the Nautilus comes around the corner, ults the Zeri, flashes after, hooks after, but there was a veil! Nearly was enough to actually make the poor Zeri survive. It was a very close call. And just imagine, there was like anything else that could have potentially saved you. But yeah, I don't think she had an item completion, even with measures in the inventory and a Fiendish Codex. I personally am more of a fan of playing Runeout Zeri. Like, you can just let me know in the comments below what you play the most, what you like the most. And yeah, then we can just see what the general community prefers to play. I mean, to be fair, I would not play Zeri in solo queue, only play Zeri in duo queue, because I tend to value my sanity. Because if you don't play anything that's super hyper, giga, turbo, mega, or mega super hyper aggressive, no problem for the many words, in solo queue you might see yourself on the losing end too many times in a row, and then depression, ranked depression kicks in, and we always hate this. The Set and the Moonbrow are brawling it out down there. Now we have a Crown pickup. They need to be careful that the Nasher isn't sneaked over the wall with the Blast Cone. It would be a very rough thing to happen, but there's too many enemies being visible right now, so this should not be a problem. Unironically, the biggest possible spike now would be the Rabadon completion, because that means you gain so much more AP that your Nash's Tooth goes even crazier. And whoever just stands in front of the Zeri will die, and if they play like front to back, like if the enemy Nautilus or the enemy Mundo is tanking in front, and she's hitting the enemy with the ultimate through the backline with the zaps, you will see that the Sona will not be enough to sustain them. Ooh, the Set goes in with an ult, with a flash ult, but it's just in the backline alone. Now the Nautilus is going in, turns around, one-shots the Sivir. The Zeri is patient with the ultimate, now pops the ultimate finally. The enemy is trying to turn on them, need to be really careful. The Sona is walking after them, but she can't really get anything done. Now she zaps over the wall, constantly zaps. Look at the damage she just deals to the enemy without the enemy being able to do anything. The enemy is just constantly playing into the Zeri's hands. Now the Twitch even walks around the corner, and all she has to do is to flash after, gets the easy kill. Now it's only the Moonbrow. Only the Moonbrow is left alive. Look at this battle of the giants. Quick little wall jump, he will not get me. Catch me if you can. But the Moonbrow is getting close to the Heartsteel proc. Big hit into the face, but this will secure the pentakill, as I've teased earlier. And now, without any further ado, let's hop into the second video. As I said earlier, this is the second Zeri video. You see some crazy colors, but don't you worry, doesn't really matter too much. We'll hop into this interesting build, which I do not personally understand, to be fair. I don't understand the necessity of going Solari Charge Blade, but yeah, well, it's just me after all, I guess. Going for the shield bow, just wants to be tankier, wants to survive. This is something I can very much understand. Also, having the more sincere enemy teammate a Syndra, and you will not survive if they just hit you with spells. And having shield bow and more will make sure you don't get one-tapped randomly, which is very nice. But Solar Charge Blade feels a little bit off here. I would rather see a Bloodthirster or maybe something else. But yeah, as many people know, Zeri has an attack speed into damage scaling once she hits a certain cap, so it's not probably the worst, but something that I'm personally not really used to. But yeah, for the other runes we have Conqueror, Brutal, Giant Slayer, Alacrity, and Bone Plating, and she will pick up Tabi in this game. Heavy trading happening in this lane, super easy because Morgana isn't really a champion, and that should never happen. The Nami should not be able to die like this. Nicely placed, instant flash after, there was no prisoners for that kind of play. But yeah, that was a very nicely played combo by the Zeri, just instantly going for the kill when she knew she can just capitalize. Meanwhile, the Lee Sin is invading the Mr. Gigglesticks in the bottom side of the map, and it's an absolute massacre because the Vladimir can't really do anything. The Nami tries her best to help them, and Morgana is just being Morgana. There's not much is happening. So we see now, what is he gonna pick up for now? Is it a Noon Quiver? No, quick little check. What are you gonna do? Tick-tock, come on. Noon Quiver being picked up. Noon Quiver having decent AD attack speed, making life a lot easier, but not being as powerful as the variant we had on PC that deals bonus damage to minions. But yeah, it's still a nice item to pick up, making life a little bit better. Theoretically speaking, life is the best on Zeri once you get boots, because you can finally move because your champion is so limited to attack speed and movement speed, and if you can't reach, you can't get anything done. Mr. Gigglesticks is now invading the Lee Sin in the chicken camp, and he'll probably hit level 5 soon. And if he hits level 5, it's a free dive angle. Now that Morgana spots him as well on the minimap, we see all that happening. Gigglesticks, ooh, still very low level. The Lee Sin took very much away from this Fiddlesticks, and now the Zeri just tries to push this wave as fast as possible. Fiddlesticks tries to avoid this play as well, doesn't really want to go too close, but now even goes for the red buff, thinks that the enemy Lee Sin is on the opposing side of the map, but now the Lee Sin appears in front of the Fiddlesticks, and the Morgana is also there rotating, and that's an easy kill pickup for the Lee Sin. Fiddlesticks needs to be really careful, you know, the Lee Sin might also be on his way. The bubble didn't connect, or the black shield connected earlier, now the Lee Sin comes, we see the ward being disabled on the minimap, the Lee Sin is clearing it now, but the Zeri is relatively safe. She has a third ability to jump at the wall, but the Nami doesn't have so. The Nami gets absolutely blown up because she didn't pay attention, she was not really seeing what was going on, and even though we had the ward vision, she just chose to not look. Flash kick into the face by the Lee Sin. I don't necessarily agree that this was the play, but now he needs to be really careful. Turns around, gets a free... This was so worth for the Zeri, by the way. This suicide play by the Lee Sin is something you do not want to see. And now the Fiddlesticks comes to the wall with an ultimate ability. The first strike is proccing constantly. Money in the bank for the broski on the sticks. He just made all the money back. All the efforts of the Lee Sin in the early game spent on putting the Fiddlesticks behind are now completely void. The Fiddlesticks is back in the game, and the Zeri is stronger than ever. Oh my Lee Sin, you really do not want to see that happen, because Lee Sin is a high tempo champion. Lee Sin is a fun champion that is kinda cringe because he can just dash to your face and kick you, but Fiddlesticks is one of the gods of objectives. If you do an objective and you don't have full control about it or around it, the Fiddlesticks might come from an angle with an ultimate that just one-taps you. And in this game, to be fair, the Zeri has to go AD and full AD, so keep that in mind because her team is fully magical or nearly fully magical, with the exception of Jax being somewhat physical as well. Fiddlesticks now getting invaded again on cooldown. The Lee Sin is really paying attention to the game, punishing her constantly. How does this stun, by the way? Gets rooted again, he has to ulti to turn around the fight, gets a nice massive shield from the shield ball. The Vayne is caught off guard here, has to just flash over the wall. Uh-oh, Vayne, you're in a very bad spot. What are you gonna do? Flashes over the wall, kills her with a burst ability, and it's an easy kill pickup. And now they'll just completely take over the game. They'll get another wave, and they might even get the tower unless they just respect the Lee Sin's gang potential here. Because the Lee Sin hasn't been spotted. The Lee Sin could be going for Herald, he could be going up here. We do not know. The Lee Sin is not spotted on the Herald. And they take the reset because the Lee Sin can't just magically appear there, and they rather want to spend their gold and recharge their resources to again go for another play again. The Lee Sin even stopped doing the Herald to go for a kill on the Vladimir. Meanwhile, the Aatrox is hammering away at the top lane tower, so it's getting really difficult here to maneuver this game for the Fiddlesticks. Vayne also needs to be so careful. Vayne is not really a champion. Like, this champion is so weak, it dies so fast to everything, it's actually saddening. The Jax dies again. Like, look, this was in the newspapers 50 billion years ago. The Herald has been slain. Where's Mr. Lee Sin gonna go with the Herald? Most likely, I wonder, and it's gonna be the top lane here, and it's gonna be a free pickup. So what happens next? Aatrox and Lee Sin are filthy rich. Nice ultimate combo here. The ultimate of the Fiddlestick comes around the corner, they just instantly dive here because the Fiddlesticks, because the Lee Sin still have a reset timer. Scattered weak by the Syndra. Lee Sin is now finally here, will pop this poor Zeri. They'll get the kills, but it will not be worth it in the end. The Fiddlestick is draining as much as he can, but the Vladimir is recalled because there's no hope for this play. They needed to make sure this play is over fast because, well, you see on the other hand, they just got the play on the Jax, so the Lee Sin will recall, and now he even pops the Herald. They get another full turret with full platings. That is a massive gold swing. And currently close to 50% of his team's kills are on him, and he has 6 out of 9 KP. Ooh, Aatrox, you have put yourself into some trouble. Zeri is constantly slowing you, but it probably will not be enough because the Aatrox is just dashing away too many times in sequence. Now the next turret is being completely sieged, but now the Zeri can come from an angle to just dash in. The Black Shield is being used, the ultimate is being popped, the Lee Sin was behind them all along, they got trapped. Oh no, this is so well played by the Lee Sin. The Lee Sin understood what was happening and punished them severely. The entire map is burning, and they need to do something. And if they don't do something, the game will slowly be lost unless, okay. If they do not lose the Nexus Shield by minute 12, they can still win. If they lose the Nexus Shield because the enemy team gets Baron, it's still winnable, but if they lose the Nexus Shield, even without Baron on the enemy team, they might lose the game before they get another chance. Because in WildRift currently, if you get a 12-minute Baron and the enemy still has Nexus Shield, you probably won't end the game. Ooh, spotting the Syndra here, but still doesn't go after her, can't really reach her. And you realistically end after the second Baron. That is the most time people, I think, end the game in WildRift, because, well, first Nashor doesn't really do anything apart from just giving him more gold, or and stalling the game. Now we have some more money collection services happening, we have bounties, and the beautiful thing is, okay, bounties, like, there's a trick. If you give the enemy all your outer turrets, before bounties become a thing, it becomes so much harder for them to collect bounties. So losing a tier 1, tier 2 on side is not as problematic, and now he turns onto the Vayne with the ultimate, deals so much damage, gets the shield and gets the movement speed, turns to the Morgana, and now the Aatrox is behind them. There's close to wall, can maybe jump the wall, it's not gonna be enough, and the Morgana survives with 1 HP. It's a travesty, a tragedy, and not even 3 acts, it's a 1 act actual disaster. So back to the idea. If you still have tier 1 outer turrets, it is better to just drop them before bounties become a thing. Because collecting bounties that are like tier 2 or tier 3 is substantially harder than just collecting tier 1s. And if the enemy gets the ability to just collect 3 tier 1 outer turrets like mid lane, top lane, and Baron lane, Dragon lane, you will see that they get a lot more gold for little risk. And you do not want that to happen, which is why I really hate winning too much. If you're winning too much, it's very easy to still have every single turret available, and that is something you do not want to have under any circumstance. And now Zeri getting all the kills is very, just 50 times more very important. She needs the gold to carry, but the Morgana is making it so annoying with the Rylai's on the floor. Like, she doesn't really do any damage, she doesn't really provide anything, and just basically sitting back, doing some crouch control, if anything, and the Lee Sin is currently playing this game completely on his own. The Lee Sin is an absolute giga carry. On the lucky hand, even though it's an Infernal Soul, it doesn't really matter to play a dragon, like Soul in this game. it doesn't really matter too much if they lose this dragon. Because they already secured one dragon, so it doesn't matter if they lose another dragon. Because nobody will get sold this game, making dragons even less worthy of an objective. Ooh, there's a Lee Sin coming. He doesn't know. Oh my god, he's so lucky that he doesn't know. Bless. Now getting closer to the Immortal Reminder, making sure to cut some of the healing, making it more difficult for the enemy to actually just fully heal constantly. And it's a scaling warfare here. Get all the gold you can and pray that the enemy is throwing. You have the tools, but the Vladimir keeps on dying mid lane. Nothing really was available in the mid lane. Ooh, the Vayne is being caught, will surely condemn the Zeri away. Bro, why did... What? I just choked. I don't know what to say. How about you just condemn instantly and then life is good? And if the enemy team now is able to get the inhibitor and take down the next, look at how much gold she just gained, like nearly 500 gold from just this turret alone. And the enemy is now gaining the inhibitor turret, but they can't end of this. And it would even be worth for the Zeri to die for this, because so much gold, like if she gets this, just look at the gold she gains. We're currently at 950, enemies making an appearance, dying for this bounty, getting another 600 gold, look at this! It's a double kill in gold, like investing so much time, etc. is worth, like she gained more than 1,000 gold for herself by just taking down 2 turrets. Remember what I said earlier? This is so broken. And now the Aatrox is very close to her and she gets a third ability up again and survives barely. Oh my god. The Aatrox is fuming, he's so mad, but the Lee Sin also makes an appearance. The Fiddlesticks, the proxy target allows her to just go past, and now it's... Will the Lee Sin die? The Lee Sin actually dies. The Vayne condemns the wrong target, the Zeri's turning on them. The Zeri gets another kill pickup onto the Vayne, it's 1 HP galore. Look at her. No way, they just threw the game. The enemy just threw the game. The Zeri is beyond filthy rich, they get more and more towers with the bounty still being a thing. Oh my god, they have such a massive gold swing from this play. And not only this, like mid lane as well is the least important inhibitor to lose, and it's only important to lose the Nexus shield. But at the same time, if you take the mid lane inhibitor, you'll feed the enemy waves for free, super mini waves, and you will, ooh, if he was in range, you would instantly die. Nice Zhonya's here, just quickly avoiding certain death. Look at the damage is coming in, because the lifeline passive was on cooldown. What a close call. The Aatrox is getting closer, closer. Very close here. And this massive gold swing might just be the end of the game for the enemy team, but now the Aatrox is turning up, trying to turn the game around again. The Zeri was being called earlier, just made this entire game a lot harder. How will they survive this? Nasha is on the plate. They can potentially end the game, but Zeri ultimate was still active. They just instantly cleared a wave and the enemy is trying to grieve? What are they doing now? Every second they waste, it could be a very, very dangerous thing. She just pops her lifeline passive. The Aatrox is stuck in a very bad spot. The enemy Syndra is not turning around. The Aatrox turns around now, but it gets instantly popped. If the Syndra was waiting around the corner, she just instantly dies here. They're not making this game any easier, but they'll now pick up the Baron. And with Baron picked up, they might be able to just push in the sideways. But still, even if you have Baron, Fiddlesticks is still a massive issue. If Fiddlesticks hits an ultimate on you, you might as well just die regardless, and there's not much you can do. They're just now picking up more waves on the side lane. This dragon is worthless, it doesn't matter who picks it up, it's not a soul, so it's even less worth than, well, waves. Now they're sharing some gold, getting something done here, pushing out the waves, making it harder for the enemy Baron to accomplish something because they have no waves to play with. Because they can't really do anything right now. They didn't set up waves in the side lane. They need to make sure to have either bottom or top wave ready to capitalize on this Baron, but the enemy is just constantly playing ARAM, utilizing this Baron for about 0%. Aatrox finally in the side lane again here. The Jax is close, recalling next to him. We'll just let him do his thing. Now they're clearing mid waves again. They're getting everything for free. The Nami should never walk there. Like, she's actually trying to lose. Like, it doesn't matter what happens up there, because they for a fact know where the enemy is, where the enemy was, and that there's no real risk involved of just clearing waves and scaling for free, because why shouldn't they just do this? It just makes no sense to contest something that will potentially lead to you dying for fun. Keep in mind, they don't have to face check anything. Now the Vladimir is being called for zero reason again, gets ulted by the Syndra but will not die from this. Fiddlesticks wasted his ultimate, so this is going to be a very big problem. They just wasted this massive cooldown when they could have just not done so. And the Vladimir being ulted by the Syndra is a very nice thing, but again, all of these things are inconsequential. There's no objective on the map, so the game won't be ending. But with Fiddlesticks ulting, they might have another chance of just doing anything they want, because without the Fiddlesticks ultimate being available, it's kind of a different or difficult thing to accomplish to defend this base. Nashor will be the next point of conflict, because this will basically decide the game. And in all honesty, I really hope they just rethink the balancing of Nashor in 12 minutes, so if you take an inhibitor while you have Nashor buff, it doesn't spawn the next turn, it just disables it from the get-go. And they're just playing very forward again, making it like... I really dislike it, because as long as Fiddlesticks doesn't have ult, you can't really do too much. And yeah, the enemy Lee Sin is just being very cocky, but all they have to do is just pillage enemy jungle, which is fine, and very soon they'll take down enemy, like the Nashor again, because it's very difficult for them to do anything. So if you think that this game, like let me know in the comments below, do you think this game is winnable, and if so, how? Like without cheating, without going forward, you know? Just tell me how. Because I believe the only winnable game here is if the enemy grieves by number 1, not having anyone respond to the Jackson side lane, number 2, not having vision onto the Fiddlesticks and the Fiddlesticks going in with ultimate and just getting it, or number 3, that the enemy is running at the Zeri team for fun and just dying. So now they have to constantly get mid lane priority by just pushing mid wave because the super mid wave is walking in, the Jax in the side lane dying to the Vayne, both people dead, Vladimir dead and Jax dead. So what's gonna happen? The enemy team still can't easily do Nashor because it's very risky to do so. Instantly pops here. Nicely timed wave by the Nami. The Lee Sin is now stuck in the G8. The Fiddlesticks is there with the ultimate on top of the G8 target. Now tops around the corner. The Aatrox is caught. Or is he? He gets instantly popped up, has the Zhonya's, will escape with the flash over the wall. Survives the combo, turns around. No, she dies. This was so close. Oh my God, this was so close. But the game will not end. They don't have Nashor, and Vladimir is alive. Vladimir just has to play the wave, has to play for time. Just don't die, but he's trying his hardest to lose the game. Look at Vladimir. You could have just, you know, wait a little bit, just clear the wave, just look at him again. But it's fine, I guess. It's okay. Ooh, and if there's one thing you don't want in this game to happen, is the Morgana team getting Elder. Like, if you think Morgana is annoying, just face no Morgana with Elder. You really do not want this. You get actual depression. The Elder is now happening. Who's gonna get it? Nami wave coming in. Syndra securing the Elder, but the Jax killing the Vayne. The turn is happening. They are somehow losing with Elder. The Fiddlesticks is an absolute on a rampage. Now the Aatrox tries to turn this. Avoids certain death from the Elder, but now this turned. Uh-oh. This Aatrox... Oh my God, that was very close. Okay, who has the Elder still? The Morgana still has the Elder, if not mistaken, so they need to be really careful. And there's one neat little piece of information. If you have Elder, and you hit an enemy and apply the Elder debuff and you die, they still get damage dealt with the Elder, like 100 per tick, but the execute won't work anymore because you don't have active Elder anymore. So let's say if this Morgana had the Elder debuff on the Jax there, and it was like still active for 2 seconds, like 100 ticks, but the Morgana just died, the Jax would still take the 100 damage from the Elder burn, but he wouldn't get immolated and instantly executed. Oh no, and now they even... They can't take this flip, they really can't. It's too much of a risk. It's an absolute battle of emotion here. It's a battle of the throws left and right, and it's not going to be any better. It's going to be very difficult, and this game is going to be fair, any team that makes a slight mistake is instantly losing this game. Both team compositions have the tools to make that happen. Syndra stun and full combo sending somebody into the Shadow Realm, Fiddlesticks ult, Lee Sin kick into the face, so many tools, and the Nami is being caught. She just walks there for no reason, nearly dies, but now the Zeri turns into the Vayne, gets denied by the autocast due to the stealth, hops over the wall to Narnia Southwest, but the Aatrox turns down. Look at the sustain, look at the healing, look at the damage, so much damage, pops the damage, flashes over the wall, instantly pops the Vayne, the Vladimir is even there, so now they turn into the Nasher. What will they do? Fiddlesticks still has ult through everything. Now the Morgana is here, but it's just a Morgana. She's not gonna do anything. She's just gonna be and just exist. If anything, she might even help them, because what is she supposed to do? Look at her. Just look at her. 62 HP, my brother in cry. Like, what is this, Fiddlesticks? Turns around, needs to be careful by the Cinders to not get one popped. Ooh, trusting in her defensive tree here, or rather in her defensive items. Was very close to just being instantly killed, because keep in mind, Syndra also has an execute mechanic. One of the Fiddlesticks take care of the Syndra, but also dies for it, and the game still isn't over. It is an absolute crime to see this game to go on for so long. And if you are wondering, like I said so many times, like lifesteal combined with more so broken against AP champions, because like you gain HP back as well as you recuperating that magic shield, making it even more difficult for magic champions to kill you, because you're basically getting double the benefits against them. Ooh, nicely turned here with the ultimate ability, blasting away the tower. The enemy is really in a pickle here. They cannot defend anymore. This will probably be the end of the game. They just instantly finish the game and it's over. I would be fuming, and this is the end of the video. As per usual, check out the builds after the video, you see them here again, and make sure to drop these channels a follow or sub to them, and we'll see each other for more RiftGuides content very soon. Maybe some stream. I need to do the on-stream tier list. I need to do so much more on stream because it's just way more time efficient, and time is of the essence, sadly. Look at the damage done. He's just performing. He's just clapping these enemies' cheeks, having no worry about anything. And yeah, we'll see each other for more RiftGuides content very soon. Peace out, friends, and see you.